And then the next thing we'll do is begin to sweep the breath, starting with the direction of down and then allowing the breath to sweep from pelvic floor into the back body. So sacrum, low back ribs, kidney area. If you like, you could place hands to kidney area or come back to resting hands comfortably anywhere else. And we've been working with patients in this practice on and off, worthy of revisiting, seeing where you could send a quality of patience to the back body, to kidneys. For many of us, there's this re-envisioning, re-inhabiting of life as spring comes, as things begin to shift, and allowing yourself to feel into the group support of co-regulation to allow you to fill your cup for that transition. Sensing if there's any energetic communication from kidneys and adrenals, images, sensations, and finding that receptive quality from the back body at this point, inhaling, receiving information from the back body. If you like, you can either place the back of the hand to back of heart or transition your focused breathing to back of heart, inhaling, receiving information from back of heart, exhaling, continuing to root yourself, re-inhabiting the body, or differently, more deeply inhabiting the body. And then the next cycle of breathing is the side breathing. So you could place your hands onto where you feel moved in the side body to sense, am I expanding and ballooning the ribs open with inhale? Exhaling, getting empty. Gathering front ribs towards back ribs so that you can then take the next biggest inhale, broadening. And sensing the horizontal reaching out into this circle of practice as you're breathing in, letting your attention and your attitude welcome the people who are practicing with you right now in time across the interwebs, allowing them to be with you in your space. Sensing into the whole sideline, letting the ear line open as if your hearing and your vestibular center of balance is opening up, sensing the sides of the skull bones, the sides of the neck, the outer line of the arms and the legs. And then coming to the direction of up. So taking a walk with fingertips just around the collarbone area and just sensing where you might either find a spot to stay or continue to walk around as you guide the breath into the upper lobes of the lungs where you might not always be reaching. Sometimes I like to cross arms into armpits to do that one. And then just sensing where can you soften the upper traps any amount, soften shoulders to drape across the uppermost ribs. And then the last hand position that we'll do, literally finding your beating heart with one hand and then placing the other hand on top and finding your heartbeat. And doing your focused breathing, sending your breath and your focus right to the heart. And what we'll work with for our theme today after this entry point is choosing an attitude, what a yogic term might be bhavana, so a felt sense and approach to pull in a way that will bring your heart into a regulated rhythm. So any way that your heart feels impatient, heated, disconnected, hiding, anything that might need some healing, and also honoring where it might feel full, love, connected, feeling for breathing in a way that supports you in having time with your heart through this whole practice. And assessing what is the attitude, what is the bhavana that you choose to feed your heart with this breath. Pulling it in like silk. Assessing any limiting beliefs that might bubble up to the surface as you choose your warrior's choice of making a clear commitment to one thing. Notice that you might have 10 things you could use and experiment with choosing one. And finding out how this can support you in doing your part of healing the planet, of healing humanity right now by attending to your own pain and your own healing and your own loving. And letting that be clear to your nervous system that what you're doing is enough right now. And then we'll come into some seated bird wing here. So first, just again, taking some walks around to see what's going on in those areas around. There's grief points, there's all kinds of organ points. And then when you're ready, coming to palms facing up. And just sensing if you need to shift your seat to any other position, switch the cross of your legs. Once you're there, if you're seated like so, align the front and the back of the pelvis, shoulders down, and then stretch the palms. Maybe do a little bit of opening and closing, and then settling into bringing the upper arms next to the ribs. Inhale, use the arms next to the side ribs to sense the expansion of the ribs. And then exhale, the forearms come out, the elbows squeeze in, shoulders down, shoulder blades down. And we'll take this in a more fluid way than we sometimes do. Find your own rhythm. Hands come forward on the inhale. Exhale, forearms come out, squeeze, shoulders down. Maybe keep your eyes closed. Maybe make it smaller and just sense how the glenohumeral joint, the ball and socket joint is moving. How do the shoulder blades respond? How do the skull bones respond? Finding a receptive quality to this palms up, receiving support in the attitude, the bhavana that you chose. Extend out through the exhale to move out heaviness that needs to go. And then when you're in the arms out position, keep the elbows in, shoulders down, and then just coming side to side here, ear to shoulder. See how the bird wing affects your ability to feel into lateral flexion. Give your neck breath support. Again, finding your own flow here. And when you're ready, palms come back, rest the hands down, take a feeling breath. And then we'll come into pressing forearms together. Let's do right arm on top, left arm down. Press, 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 feel the shoulders, and then soften shoulders down. Keep the ribs lifted, and then move the arms to the left, and then back to center. Start looking over the right shoulder as the arms go left, and then keep going at your own pace, keeping it fluid, keeping it to your own pacing. Sensing how the fascia and the joints are responding to this hopefully nourishing, healing movement. Relaxing eyes open or closed. Let the arms come back to center and relax. Take a breath. Exhale fully. Pull the low belly back to the spine. And we'll take that to the other side. So let's do right arm under, left arm over. Press the arms together, shoulders down. Keep ribs lifted, moving the arms to the right, gaze goes left. Feeling the relationship between shoulders and skull bones, between upper back and neck. Deep breathing. Feeling how breathing in the 6 directions affected opening the practice today. And then from there, come back to center, arms relax down, take a feeling breath. And then from there, starting to tuck the chin like you're furling in like a wave. And then coming back up, pull the chin back, press the back of the head into the hand, reach the crown of the head for the ceiling, making space at the occipital ridge. And we'll take that again. Tucking the chin, rolling in. You can come into the upper back a bit. Just let it be where it feels good. Pull the chin back. You can use your hand if it's useful. Press head into hand. Reach up through the crown of the head. Look up to your degree. And then take that a few more times. So you're finding spinal flexion, tucking, rolling. And spinal extension. And when that feels complete, take a pause, sensing the tube of the torso, if you will. And then we'll take some twisting. So crossing the torso and just sensing what that does in the brain to cross the midline, lifting up through the ribs, and then just gently coming side to side into your twist. And using this in a way to come into feeling through the torso, through the spine. You can either keep the chin over the sternum or look over the shoulder. Either way, keep the pelvis rooted and as stable as possible, feet active. And then come on back to center, take a feeling breath, receiving the quality that you chose. Exhaling, letting it spread through every cell. And then we're gonna head on to the back. We're gonna do some bird wing on the back with some core work. So you can grab your roll if you have it. And first, just come on down And get a sense of your back ribs, if they're off the floor, if they're on the floor. And just begin to use your hands onto the front line to sense letting the core relax in towards the spine. Let the back ribs and the kidneys give you information. So if the ribs are touching, letting that stay there and just go. So my ribs are touching on one side, not touching on the other. That's good information. I'm going to continue to feel for back ribs connecting to the ground. Feet active. Feet could be underneath knees or a bit forward. And then when you are ready, we'll come into our bird wing on the back, using the floor to get information. Are your shoulders forward? Are your ribs on the ground? Spread the palms open. Inhale. Exhale, forearms move out, elbows hug in, shoulders down. This time, lift the pubic bone towards the navel, pull the low belly in. Inhale to stay 1. Exhale, forearms move out, elbows hug in, shoulders down, shoulder blades down. Do about 3 more at your own pace here. And when that's complete, relax the hands back on the torso. And then from here, we'll do a bit of dipping frog. We'll start with one leg at a time. So as you inhale, pick the knee up over the hip on the right side. And then as you exhale, roll the thigh in, tap the heel down, and come right back up. So we'll do a couple more on one side and then switch. Inhale, side ribs. Exhale, tap the heel down, roll the thigh in, engage the low abs. Inhale. Exhale, roll the thigh in, tap heel down. Keep the pelvis as stable as you can, low belly comes in. Inhale. Exhale, tap down, come right back up, and then place that down. Feel the difference in the 2 sides. Pick the left knee up over the hip. Notice that the pelvis wants to move to, quote, help you out, stabilize the pelvis. Inhale, side ribs, back ribs. Exhale, roll the thigh in, tap the heel down, come right back up, low belly pulls in. Inhale, side ribs and back ribs. Exhale, roll thigh in, tap heel down, come right back up. Do 2 more, inhale. Exhale, roll thigh in, tap, come right back up. Inhale. Exhale, tap down, come right back up, low belly pulls in, feet come down. Take a feeling breath, either stillness or movement. So you could do another round of that, repeating that, or come to grabbing onto your prop. Place your prop onto the pubic bone, grab it with the inner thighs, and this time both knees come up right over the hips. Roll the thighs in like you're trying to send the prop forward, and then place your hands wherever it helps you to stabilize the torso. Inhale, back ribs and side ribs. Exhale, squeeze prop, tap the heels down, either halfway or full or anything in between. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze only as far as you can keep the back ribs making contact. Tap, come back up, low belly pulls in. Let's do 3 more. Exhale, squeeze, tap down, come right back up. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, tap down, come right back up. Inhale. Exhale, squeeze, tap right back down, come right back up. Place the prop to the side and either feet together, knees wide, or knees together, feet wide. Take a feeling breath into pelvis. And just sense, what is your connection or disconnect, or probably a combination of both. And we'll come into doing some psoas toner on the block. So if you don't have a block, you can do this with the hips down, or you can do the bolster. The bolster works awesome, so a pillow would also work awesome. Bring your feet up, bring your hips up onto the block, feet underneath the knees. So the psoas is one of the hip flexors that connects all the way up into the thoracic spine. And with a lot of sitting, it gets short. and grouchy. So inhale, left knee to chest. Exhale, reach straight up. And let's hang out here for a little bit. Let's do some pointing and flexing, nourishing the tissues in the foot. You could roll the ankle in any fashion that feels good. And then come back to stable hips. Inhale here. Exhale, lengthen thigh bone away from pelvis till the heel comes down. And then from there, relax the foot, relax the leg. Bring the left hand to the front of the hip. And you could even let the foot relax out to the side if that feels okay in your sacrum. You're feeling for finding some softening in the psoas, so that front of hip area. The direction of down could come in pretty handy here. Letting the jaw go. At any point, you could come back to that triple warmer point of hand to face to help you find some ease. Take a couple more breaths here. When you're ready, kick the heel into the mat and then glide the heel across the floor to wake up your heel point, which is going to wake up the posterior chain. Inhale, right knee to chest. Exhale, reach up like a kick, like you're going to plant that leg on the ceiling. Spend some time here, nourishing those tissues, feeling the fascial chain, and any information you can get from working in a high quality, healing, loving way. And then from there, reach up through that thigh bone, maybe help it out a little bit, tractioning the thigh bone away from the hip, and then taking the foot till the heel comes down, relaxing the leg, relaxing the foot. So it's a quieter pose, letting the breath go down to communicate with your psoas, with the right hip. Coming back to the attitude, the bhavana that you've chosen, pulling that in with every inhale like silk, infusing every cell of your body with that quality. 2 more breaths here. When you're ready, plant the heel, kick it into the ground, glide the heel back across the floor, and then take a moment here to reset. What is your feeling connection here? So we have the inguinal ligament between the PSIS, the front hip point, the pubic bone, inguinal ligament, and just finding this awe of the architecture of the pelvis and how the legs connect. Let's lift up off of the block. Stay lifted. And let's do a round of Uddiyana. Relax internally. Inhale. All the way. And then exhale everything out. Keep the breath out. Pull the belly back, lower down. And then relax internally. Fill all the way up with breath. And then keep all of the space you just made. Roll onto one side. Come up to tabletop. And then just have anything you might need in reaching distance here. Plant the shins into the mat, press the ground away, relax the neck. Keep feeling for that kidney, adrenal, kindness, patience, anything else that you feel drawn to feeding on in there. And then from here, let's do some flow with some alternate reaching. If it's interesting, you could place a block or a blanket to your low back to give you some proprioceptive support. And then just finding some flow here. Doing it at your own pace, wrapping the shoulder blade, kicking through the heel. Sensing the relationship of the limbs to the torso. And then the same thing here, let's come into some half frog in tabletop. So press the ground away with the right shin, hover the left knee, and begin to take the left knee out to the side. For today, let's bring the right arm into a cactus. Keep sensing where you can keep the eyes soft and fill yourself up with this quality. Feel the energy body respond. And then extend the legs straight, extend the arms straight, and make a diagonal across the body. So it's like you're making a half X shape. And then you could tap into the knee, reaching the arm on a diagonal, the leg on a diagonal. And again, doing that a few times at your own pace. Sensing what it does in your brain to cross the midline. And take a pause, take a feeling breath there. And then from there, take some alternate limb reaching from the other side. And again, sensing what it does to cross the midline, to use your limbs in this way. And then from there, let's come into half frog. So press into the left shin in both hands. Hover the right knee and then begin to take it out to the side any amount. Prioritize pelvic stability. Left arm comes into tabletop or cactus. Sensing how this is sort of like a climbing gesture. And then extend the arms on a diagonal. Tuck in, across, tap the hand to the knee, extend out, making a half X. Tap. And release, take a feeling breath. With or without the prop, we'll come into some lateral flexion. So if you're using a prop, grab onto it with the inner legs. Extend the spine, back of the head moves towards the ceiling and crown of the head moves forward. Inhale, and then take a look towards the left heel. Inhale back to center. Take a look towards the right, and then just sensing the space between the pelvis and the ribs, shifting, using this as a way to keep coming into awareness of the lateral sheath of the fascia, the lateral line of the body. Witnessing your spine in lateral flexion. And then come on back to center. Let's take some twists. So you could grab any kind of prop that's going to give you something to squeeze with your right hand. It could be a block, could be a load. Press into the shins and the left hand. Pull back with the right. Reach up. And then take it through, tap the ground and then come right back up. Tap through and then come right back up. And again, going in a way that puts you in connection to the spine in rotation. And everything the shoulders are doing, everything the torso is doing. And when you're ready, take some circles forward and move the joints of the shoulder, elbow, and hand in any fashion. And we'll take that to the other side. So you could keep the prop between the legs to keep you stable in the pelvis if you like. Grab onto your prop with your left hand, press the ground away with the right. Pull back, feel those dual actions giving you connection to the front line, and then tap through, feel the back body. Receiving information, we're always receiving from the back body. Information about intuition. Sensing any scapular mobility that you can use as you reach up. And then again, start by taking some improvised action that's going to nourish the tissues of the shoulder, the elbow, the wrist. And then release your props. Take a feeling breath. And let's come into half dolphin with palms up. So bring elbows down, wrap around the triceps, and then flip the palms up, stretch the hands. And then just take some time here, pouring some weight and then backing off so you get a sense of the tightness or openness of the forearms. Can you draw the front ribs towards the back ribs and broaden back of heart? If it feels like a move that works for you, you can begin to hover the knees. Either way, keep breathing in a way that gives you the strength to check in with the back of your heart. Receiving information, press the ground away using your strength. Keep stretching through all the fingers, maybe making fists so you can find the opposite, close and then open. From there, come back through tabletop and into child's pose. So you could stretch the hands forward, finding the opposite of that external rotation we just did. And then when you are ready, come back to your tabletop. From here, let's go ahead and come into either turbo dog or down dog. I'll talk us through turbo dog. So from tabletop, hands come forward and hands width distance. Press the ground away. So you're really finding your arm strength. And then find a slight bend at the elbows. Hug the inner elbows in, like you're squeezing a beach ball between the elbows, and reach the upper arm bone towards the ground. You can stay right here with the knees down. Otherwise, curl toes under. Begin to hover the knees. Relax your gaze to somewhere that gives you the most struggle-free neck, and then begin to straighten the legs. You might keep them bent. Feel for giving yourself breath support. If the knees are not down, gently place the knees down. Take a feeling breath. From here, find your way to forward fold. Feet planted strongly at hips width distance. Give yourself some time to check in. Get the outer edges of the feet parallel, maybe massage the lower legs or anywhere you feel moved to give some extra support to. And then continue to find out this quality of forward bending as a way to find some ease. Grab one of your props and then plant the right hand onto it. And then from there, begin to pull back with the left hand. Keep a slight bend in the knees, reaching up. And then we'll take that to the other side. Plant the left hand onto the block. Knees over ankles, pull back, reaching up. Doing that one more time each side. Press into the block, pull back, reaching up. Shift the block to the left side, pull back, knees over ankles, reach up. And then straighten the legs, come back to a forward fold. Strong press of the L that the thumb and the index finger make. Press into the head of the quads, engage the low abs. Come up slowly with a flat back, sensing, can you keep the knees over the ankles or in that direction? And then get your active sensing hands onto pelvis. And begin to come back to that breath of down. Feeling into the bony landmarks as you can of front hip point and back hip point aligned. And then sensing your imaginary ball, broadening into side ribs, allowing the front ribs to relax towards the back ribs and down. And then pick up your imaginary ball, come up, and then come through the midline, hands come to touch. We'll do that a few times. So inhale, hips back, pull up, lift your rib cage, lift your hands, bring the hands through the midline, feel that contact. Inhale, lift your imaginary ball. Bring the hands to touch. And then one more time. Lift your ribs. And then we're going to do a little bit of work with the feet. If you need the wall, grab it. Let's come into some plantar flexion. So take the top of the foot back. And again, stay aware of your pelvis in space. Find a place where you can get into the top of the foot. And then notice what you're doing with everything else. Maybe you come back to one of the gesture points that we've worked with earlier. When you are ready, take it to the other side. Notice if one side or the other has a lot more information or different information. See if you can feel into an affirmation of your self-care with every breath and the way that you're paying attention. And then come on back up. Let's find those low glutes. So curl the toes under, step back, bend the knee so you can come into something that will help you find walking up the back of the hamstring. See if you can contract the low glute and then let it soften. So we often have glutes that are chronically contracted, so finding that range of contract and then let go. And then while you're doing this, you're also getting some stretching in the toes there. So you can press into the mat with the toes curled under, like you're trying to dent the mat with your toes. Playing with what information can you find about the posterior chain. And then we'll switch sides. Curl the other side. Under, toes curl under, bend the knees so you can get a sense of the pelvis. Waking up, walk up the hamstring. You can find the low glute, contract, and then soften. Doing that a few times. And again, noticing the difference in the two sides. And then go ahead and let that go. From here, let's go ahead and come into swinging arms. So again, just like you're throwing something away, flip the hands. Use your exhales. Play with it. So we're working we are working shoulders. We're working lung and heart meridian here. All of those muscles underneath the shoulder blades. And then take a feeling breath coming into either stillness or some movement, opening the armpits so that the lymphatic webbing is getting some support and some fluidity. Come back to Tadasana. Bring the hands to touch. Let's come into some standing poses. So sweeping up, again, lift your ribs. Once you're up there, opening the front body. Exhale, front hips back over ankles, forward. Inhale, left leg steps back. Come into your lunge. Have your blocks nearby. From here, just playing with it so you can get into something that feels useful into the left hip flexors, the quads. Once you're there and you have front point and back point of hip aligned, kick into the ground, lift the pubic bone, and then come on up to wherever you feel the most embodied in what your attitude and bhavana is. Take 2 more extraordinary breaths here. Let's come into a side bend. Hold on to your right hip. Lift your ribs, reaching up and over. And then continue to knit the front ribs in and down so you can get into the side body. From there, let's take our twist. Back the hips up. Make 2 90-degree angles with the legs so you can really feel stable to lift your ribs and come forward. And either take that elbow outside the thigh or open the arms. Coach that left hip back into alignment. Lengthen ribs away from pelvis on inhale. Exhale, opening up. Notice what you're doing with your gaze. Can you soften the gaze? Can you energetically open the feet so you're giving and receiving energy with your home, the earth? Unwind your twist. Let's come into plank. So taking your version, knees up or knees down. Take a few breaths in your plank to get a sense of your core in space, connected to your limbs.
And then lowering down, shoulders move away from ears and towards the ceiling. Lift your leg and reach it back strongly. Plant the shin at the top of the foot. And let's do some cobra push-ups. You can do hands on your shoulders or slide forward. See what gives you the most ability to sense your ribs gliding forward or moving forward. I'm doing about 3 or 4 of these. And then when you're ready, shoulders away from ears, come through tabletop and into downward facing dog. When you're ready, left leg comes forward. Thank you for those who remembered the side bend and the twist. We'll catch everyone else up, including myself, on this side. Left leg forward. Come in and out of it till you find something that helps you to tease out space in the quads, in the front of the hip. Once you find a sweet spot to stay, and then choose where your arc position is. Use this lunge to come into re-inhabiting or more beneficially inhabiting the body. Hold on to the left hip, lift ribs, reach up and over. Use the low glutes and the hamstring to stabilize the right hip. And then feel into what is pleasant about this pose as a way to connect into resourcing yourself with this practice. Come on up, back the hips up, hold on to the hips, press down and then resist with your ribs. Lift up, come forward, and then either elbow outside the thigh or onto the thigh or open up the arm. Feel for where the hips are in space so you can keep building this pose in a nourishing way, in feeling. You could keep the hand on the low back or reach up. 2 more breaths here. Unwind your twist, step up to the top of the mat. And then again, thumbs into the hip crease, come on up, use the core, lift your ribs, and then exhale, hands come to heart center. From here, if you have your blocks within reaching distance, grab them, and then step wide. And we'll come into horse stance. So grabbing onto the blocks if you want to use them. You can also do this with objects or without. And then come on down so you can see where you're getting into working your edge honestly. Find the stabilization of the pelvis, front hip point and back hip point aligned. And then from there, we'll work with what we sometimes do as if you had a paintbrush and you were inside a dome and you were trying to cover as much of the interior area. And just sensing where you could go without stressing your joints. Feeling how you're generating energy with the shape of your lower body. Giving yourself breath support. And then from there, straightening the legs with or without the props, taking a few breaths into a 5-pointed star. Sensing the X that moves through the body and crosses the midline. And then from there, rebend the knees. Let's take some twisting horse. So hands onto the quads and then roll one shoulder forward. And again, we'll go for more fluid today. Lengthen the ribs away from the pelvis. Keep the heel points rooted. Keep the tripod of the foot rooted. Taking it side to side, teasing out space in the inner groin and the adductors, teasing out space in the back by lengthening the ribs away from pelvis. And then come on back, kick into the ground to find this rising up as a result of that grounding. And again, come into your 5-pointed star. Feel your relationship to this shape. And then from there, bring the toes forward. Hold on to the hips, telescope ribs. And then take a few reps here, either with hands on hips or interlacing, perhaps using a strap, wherever you can get the breath into the uppermost ribs, into the places that need this in the front of the neck. Using sighs out through the mouth, anything that's going to help the jaw let go. And then we'll come into a forward fold. Come back up through neutral, hold on to the hips, telescope ribs, come forward. Hands could be on blocks or on the floor. Either way, get weight into the heels, kick through the legs. Walk the hands over to the left, hands on blocks or grabbing onto the lower leg. Keep teasing out space by reaching the right elbow towards the ground, seeing what does that do to stimulate the fascia around the shoulder girdle and the middle back. Tease out space by moving the right ribs to the right. Take it to the other side, come through center. Hands can stay on blocks or hold onto the lower leg. Bending the left elbow to coach scapular mobility. Place your mind into the left ribs, tease the left ribs open with your breath, move the left ribs to the left. And then come on back to center. Let the head hang. Take a couple of exhales here. Keep giving your legs breath support. Keep using your legs a lot. And then from here, hold on to the hips, use your core, come up. And then stay in the wide stance for now and pivot the right toes forward, set up. We're gonna do warrior 2. Bend into the knee. If you have the mobility, pick up the left heel and spin it out. And then play with your your alignment here, front hip point and back hip point in one plane. And then from there, let's come into some bird wings. Start by reaching out into warrior 2. Ribs right over hips, arms equally reaching out. Inhale, palms up, shoulders down. Maybe you're looking up. Exhale, roll the arms forward, slide the shoulders up. Let the thoracic spine flex around the upper back so that you can find those two opposite actions. Palms up, shoulders down, look up. And then using this either with arms straight or bent elbows to heal your heart. Remembering this core teaching of yoga that you heal you with your helpers supporting you. Your main helper of the breath. When you're back at palms up and shoulders down, take a feeling breath here, feeling this receptive quality, palms up, heart open. Straighten the front leg, let the arms come down. Let's take it to the other side. Left toes, spin forward. If you can and like, pick up the right heel and spin it out so you're rolling that thigh in, bend into the front knee. And then find your pelvis. Reach out equally through both arms, finding that quality of warrior. Inhale, palms up, shoulders down. Perhaps you're looking up. Exhale, roll the arms forward, slide the shoulders up, and then playing with symmetry or asymmetry here to keep teasing out things that need to be felt in the heart. Being patient with your heart, with your process. Receiving the supports from every direction.
Feeling the way the muscle wraps around the bone, connects shoulders, connects to torso, and then pause, palms up, receiving with your inhale. Exhale, letting that spread to every cell, every fiber. Straighten the leg, let the arms come down, legs wide. Heel toe the feet back together. And we'll just do a little bit of hip hiking here again. We did some 2 weeks ago. So you can do it with or without the block. So the block just makes it a little bit more obvious. So on the floor or on the block, and then hiking one hip up, and then letting it come back down. So you're looking at strengthening this outer hip. Press, if you need a prop, you could press the hip into the hand or another block, hiking that hip up, and then bringing it back. So when this gets stronger, outer hip, the low back takes less of a hit. So this has been helping me get out of back pain. Hiking. And then maybe taking a little swing if you are on a block. And let's switch sides. If you're standing on the block, get the outer edge of the foot parallel to the block. Get the feet even to start, and then hike the opposite hip out and up, back down. Press it out and up, back down. Feel for doing it with the outer hip. You might notice the back is recruiting as much as you can. Use the hip. Give yourself breath support. Notice if your standing toes are trying to help you. And then perhaps take a swinging breath, swinging psoas pose, letting the hip relax. And then from there, taking a moment, feeling yourself as this vertical vessel. And then taking your vertical vessel and placing it into a horizontal orientation. Shavasana, taking any of your props and finding any finishing shapes that would feel integrative. Perhaps knees to chest. And feeling into the extraordinary nature of this final phase of the cycle of practice, Shavasana, where you turn it over, you drop the rope of effort, and the self-organizing intelligence that is you takes over, and it's effortless for you at this point. Trusting in the body's, the psyche's, the spirit's ability to heal and love and reorganize. Begin to bring your attention back to the attitude, the bhavana that you chose, and begin to make that clear commitment to one thing and pull that quality in with your breath. And make a clear commitment to yourself to keep working with this intent today. Take all the time you need to come on to one side. And then press into the ground. As you come back up, come back to your triple warmer point, covering the side of the face. Other hand to the low belly, taking a few breaths there. And then when you're ready, shifting the whole hand to heel of the hand to the brow point, walking to the crown of the head, opposite hand to the heart. And then taking any other gesture or keeping this gesture to seal our time together. Thank you all so much for your time and effort and attention.
Thank you, Karuna. Beautiful practice.
Pleasure.
Thank you, Karuna.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. See you soon.
Yeah, really, really helpful.
Oh, good.
Hey, John.